Hi guys, and welcome to my ICT Hub. This is John, your ICT tutor, making ICT concepts easier. Today I'll be working on the website authoring aspect of the February March 2023 paper 3-1 of the IGCSE ICT examination. I had worked on the spreadsheet before now. The link to the spreadsheet video is in my description below. Okay, so if you're ready, let's start out with this. Okay, it's the Cambridge IGCSE. Here we have Information and Communication Technology, paper 3-1, February, March 2023. So let's go straight to the web authoring aspect, which is on page 5. Alright, the first task you have to do is a file management and image manipulation. Let's create a new folder called TCC. That is going to be where our evidence document is located. So I'm going to create a new folder. Just right click on a blank space, go to new and folder. Let's call that TCC. Alright, the next thing is locate the following files and store them in your TCC folder. This is done so as to enforce relative referencing instead of absolute referencing of your files. So all files you'll be using in the web, in the web authoring or in the creating of your web page will all be located within the same location. That's why this is very necessary. So let's locate the files BAT, logo, TCC, and text. So we have BAT.jpg, logo, JPG, TCC, and text. Okay, okay, now those files are selected. I'm gonna just copy them and place them here. Okay, the 4 files are stored there. Open and edit the file m23 logo.jpg. That's a picture file. So what are the editings we're going to do? First, you're going to reflect it as flipping it horizontally. Second, rotate it 180 degrees so that the text is readable. Then lastly, reducing the image dimension to 900 pixels wide by 180 pixels high. Save this new image in your TCC folder in PNG format. You know, the image is in JPG right now, so it's going to be changed to PNG format with the file name TCC logo followed by candidate number. Okay, let me just save that. And let's go to the image. Okay, and here we have the logo. Let's open it. I'm opening with the photo application. That's the photo image application. Let me show you. If you right click, open with. Okay, so I'm going with the photos. It's to be using the photos. It's a utility software that comes with the Microsoft operating system. You could use your Paint 3D, or any other application, image application you are comfortable with. But I like to work with this, so I open it up with that. Now let's edit the file. The first thing we have to do, click on edit here, is to flip the image. Let's wait for that to open. Now I'm going to flip the image horizontally. This is to flip vertically. So flip the image horizontally. Then to rotate it 180 degrees. Now it's not specified whether to the left or to the right, but just 180 degrees. So whichever direction, this is 90 degrees and this is 180 degrees till it is readable. Then I'm to resize it. But before resizing, I have to save the image before I can resize it. So let's just save it, save a copy. And I'm to save it as, remember the format is PNG format. So I'm going to save it as PNG, give it a file name, this with center number. Okay. And it's been saved. Now this is the file. Then you have to reduce it. If you look at the question, it says reduce the image dimensions to 900 pixels by 180 pixels high. So I'm going to still use that application. Click on the 3 dots here, and here we have the resize image. You can either resize in pixels or in percentage, but the question says you should resize to 900 by 180. So the width here is going to be 900 and the height is already 980. It's still saving in PNG format. So now I can save the file. Yes. Okay, so that file has been saved. Let's see what else do we have to do. The question, save this in your, yes, it has been saved in this format. Okay, now display the contents of your TCC table, TCC folder, beg your pardon, showing the folder name, all the file names, file extensions, image dimensions, and the file sizes. Okay, those are 5 things. So let's go to the folder, the TCC folder. Here we can see the folder name. We can see the file name, the file extensions. We have the file sizes, but we don't have the dimension of the images because it's also requested that we should have display, where is it? The image dimension and the file size. Okay, now how do I open up the image dimension? So what you do is right click at the top bar here, and here you would find that. But if you don't find another option or property you are told to display here, you can click on more and find that property and turn it on from here. But because this is already here, I'm just going to click on dimensions, and there it is displayed. So I can take a screenshot of this now with all the 5 details: the folder name, the file extensions, we have the file sizes, and then the image dimensions. Okay, someone might ask, how about if I don't have the file extension displayed here? Yes, if you come to your view and your show, remember I'm using Windows 11, and then you can turn on your file extensions. For lower operating systems, you would have it on your toolbar displayed here, where you see the box under the view bar where you have file extension, and you can check on that and it's going to still open up the file extension. So now let me take a screenshot of this by Windows Shift and S, and I'm going to take a screenshot to show all of those details, and let's paste it in our evidence documents as what step 9. Okay, call that step 9, and I'm going to paste that in the evidence document. All right, let's continue. The next question, step 10. Okay, we start the task 4, which is the web page itself. Now let's read the brief introduction. It says you are going to create a style sheet and part of a web page for the Tawara Cricket Club. The web page and style sheet must work in any browser. All color codes are in hexadecimal, and any new color code must also be in hexadecimal. Make sure that your style sheet contains no HTML, and make sure your HTML and style sheets are efficient as possible. All right, I haven't taken note of that. Let's go on. Create a new style sheet in your TCC folder called this.css. I will be using the web expression application. You could make use of Sublime Text. You could make use of your Dreamweaver application, whichever one you're comfortable with. But this is quite easy. Many of my students request that I use this. It's quite easy for them to teach with and to learn the basics. So let's open a CSS file. First, let's create a CSS file from here, and I'm going to save it as. Make sure it's in the TCC folder, my desktop. Okay, now the file name is m3.css. Okay, I'm gonna save that there. All right, yes, that is saved. Good. The next thing now, let's begin. It says add CSS to the style sheet to meet these specifications. 1, the background color. Now, which of these elements do we add the background color? Background color affects the whole web page, which is more like the whole body of the web page. So the tag that goes with the background color is the body tag. Then the details here says the blue component, the green, and the red. Now, how do we know how to arrange this hexadecimal pattern? Now, hexadecimal pattern is usually in the RGB format. Let me give an example. What I mean is you write it with the hashtag, then the red component, the green component, and the blue components. Each component usually has 2 values that you can see. We have 6 and 4 in hexadecimal pattern, 6D, 0408. So if I'm going to arrange this now, it's going to be hashtag. First, the red component is this 6D, the green component 04, and the blue component 0A. So it's going to be hashtag 6D, 04, and then 0A. Okay, so now having done that, that's how the color coding for the hexadecimal in the web expression is, or internet browser. All right, so let's quickly go to that. Let's initiate that. So to initiate, we will click on this. If you are using the web expression for the first time, you might not have this toolbar. So to open this, you go to your view, come to your toolbars, and click on style. Like now, I had to turn this off so you could see this is what it's going to look like. But if you turn on your toolbars and then turn on your style, and you're going to have this toolbar. Then you click on this to open a new style. Now you have a dialog box. Here we have, it's a very powerful tool. Web Expression saves you the coding. Most of it's going to be done for you, provided you know how to use every category or every function you'll be using is going to be found somewhere in these categories. So the first tag, remember, is a body tag. If it has a dot, then this is a class, but we want the body tag. So it's either you type it in or you just click down and locate your body tag there. So that's the HTML element we are using, a body tag. Now we want the color, the background color. So here under element you can see background. So I click background and here I have my background color. So let's just type that component. We have 6D, 04 and 0A. Now that's the color for the background color. You click on OK and that has been generated. The next one is the H1, H2, H3 and the paragraph tag. We're having font style and font color. So how do we do that? Click on this again for another new style. Type H1 separated with a comma and then your P. Okay, oh, sorry, beg your pardon. I'm just typing in uppercase. Let me change that to lowercase. Is that a comma and P? All right. Now what we want is a font color. So we are dealing with fonts and here we have the font category. The first thing is not the font color, font style, which here it tells us the different types of fonts, and this property is called the font family. Because if you come here, let's even take a look at it, you'll see we have different types of fonts here. First one says Domino. So if I even want to look through, if we have Domino here, you might either look through or you could just go ahead and start typing to save you that. Okay, I can't even find Domino here. So what I'll just do is just go ahead and type it. But for me, I can copy. If in your case, you would have to type it. So please ensure that when you are typing, you do not make any mistake. You type accurately. Separate by a comma. And lastly, it says, or if these fonts are not available, the browser's default serif font. So I'm going to end that list with serif. Okay. Now before I leave, the next thing says the font color should be yellow. All right, for the RGB, it's not giving me the color code in hexadecimal, it just says yellow. So how do I know yellow? If you come, luckily here, you can see these basic colors are here. If you click on yellow, it's going to show you the hexadecimal function or the hexadecimal formula for that particular color, making it easier with expression. So easily I could just click on OK and it generates that particular style. Now the next one we now have is the table tag. Now the table tag, we are going to be working on the alignment. It says it should center within the browser's window and then the borders should be collapsed and not visible. All right, let's start another new style. We're dealing with tables. So once again, we're going to type table here. And now we want to ensure that the borders. So we look for border category. Here we have the border width, border style, border color. Please let's reconfirm the first thing that says the alignment. Okay, for the table, let's look for the alignment. If I look at the box, all right, see here we have the margin. Now to set the alignment of the table, you have to set your margin for the left and the right to auto so that it automatically sets the table to the middle of the window. But if you are told to set the table to the left, as in align completely to the left, that means your margin to the left is going to be 0. And possibly your right is going to be auto. But if your table is also going to be set to the right, then the margin right will be 0, while the left will be auto. But in this situation, because it's located at the middle of the browser, so both should be left and right should be set to auto. So we're going to uncheck this, same for all. Set right to auto, set the left to auto. Okay, and what other property in the table? It says the borders should be collapsed. So I'm going to look for table borders. Here in table, I have table, okay, border collapse, set it to collapse. And then it says it should not be visible. So yes, not visible. So I come to the table, border width should be 0. I'm just going to type that 0 because it says it should not be visible. So all the table should not be visible. Once I'm done with that, click on OK. And once again, it has generated all of that for you. And that's all. Now it says place your name, center number, and candidate number as a comment at the start of the style sheet. Unfortunately for comments, you have to type that in yourself. So to type comment, you're going to be using the slash, asterisk, asterisk, and the forward slash. Well, let me bring this down. Forward slash, asterisk, the name. Let me use my uppercase. Center number and candidate number. Then end with asterisk and the forward slash. And that is going to be a comment in your CSS. Save your style sheets. Okay, we saved that already. Now place a copy of your style sheets in your evidence document and make sure that the contents are easy to read. Now I didn't say we should take a screenshot. Normally in the past we might see screenshot, but this time it says place a copy. So I'm going to just select all, copy it, and go to my evidence document. That should be, let's see, step 10. Okay. That is gonna be step 10. Step 10. And let me paste that. Okay. That is a copy of my CSS. Although over the years, we usually use your, what's it called, screenshot. I don't kind of like this. It's the HTML that should come this way. I prefer to take a screenshot instead. So let's go with the screenshots. Both of it will still show the same thing, but this is better. It shows all the details that the name of the CSS has been stored. Okay, yes, so that details that are necessary for the evidence would be seen. Okay, yes, so we can see here that the style sheet's name has been saved the way it should be saved, and all other details are properly seen. So I think I prefer the screenshots for that. All right, let's go on with the question. Yes. And the next question says, open in your TCC folder the web page called m23tcc.htm. Okay, now we are opening a HTML file. So let's go from our web expression. Let's open, it's not the TCC folder. Okay, here we are in the TCC folder. We want to open the HTML file. Okay, here it is. Now let's go back to the question. The web page has a structure that looks like this. Okay. Each cell contains a letter which must not appear on your final web page. Now what do? Replace the letters A with the image TCC logo that you saved in step 9. Alright, let's quickly go back to expression. So I'm going to start with the letter A. I'm going to delete that, and my cursor is still in that cell. I want to insert a picture from my file. Ensure it's coming from a TCC, and this image which I saved is a PNG file with my name. Okay, I'm going to call alternative text. Let's just call that TCC logo. Okay, sorry, my caps lock is turned on. Okay, and that is in. The next thing is in B, we should replace B with the content of the file m23text.txt. So let's open that. Let's copy up. I'm going to use Ctrl A to select all and Ctrl C to copy. And let's go in place of B, highlight B and paste that there. Okay, then we go back to the question. Place of C with the image m23bat.jpg. So in place of C, take out C and then insert picture, the bat. Let's call that TCC bat. Okay, just bat. All right, image is in there. Now, in place of D, replace with the text web page created by, then followed by your name, center number, and candidate number. All right, so here we have D, then followed by name, center number, and candidate number. That way. Okay, then it says apply style H2 to all text in cells B and D. Alright, so I'm going to highlight cell B and D. Oh wait, I prefer to do that separately. Let's highlight cell B, go to H2. Is that H2? No, that's H1. I want H2. Okay, then we also highlight this and go apply H2. Okay, now make sure the aspect ratio of both images is maintained. So long as we do not tamper with the images, their size will be maintained, the height and the width will be maintained the way they are. If the question says we should ensure that it stays within the width of the column, then within the width of the table to enforce that it does not go, it stays within the width of the cell, then you will have changed this to width of 100%. But since the aspect ratio, we do not want to tamper with the size of the image. Then we move on to the next. It says edit this web page so that the table fits 85% of the browser. So we want to edit a property of the table. I'm just going to right click anywhere in the table and come to table properties. So 85%, so I want to specify the width. It is in percentage and that should be 85%. Okay, that is done. You can check that. Okay, here we have table width 85%. The next is save the web page, display the web page in your browser. All right, let's save that. To display it in my web browser, I'm going to click here and open it in my Internet Explorer. Okay, here I have the web page in my browser. Am I missing something? Okay, yes, I know I'm missing something. Attach the style sheet M23 because it was looking too blank. CSS to this web page. All right, let's go attach. The page was looking too blank to be a final walk. To attach the style sheet, click here. Let's browse to find the style sheet. Is this in TCC folder? No, it has to be from the TCC folder. Here we have the style sheet. Open and attached. All right, that is attached. We're going to save it. Now let's take a look at it in the browser. Let me refresh this. Okay, yes. Now this looks better. Initially it was looking so plain. All right, let's go back to the question. Having done that, display this web page in your browser. Take a screenshot, evidence, and place this in your evidence documents. Make sure that all the page can be seen, all the text can be easily read, and the address bar is fully visible. Okay, let's go. Here we have the page. Oh, it's bigger than Windows, so I might want to zoom down a little bit. Okay, all the page can be seen, but distorting, I'll prefer to keep it at 0. Let's keep it at 100%. I'll take a double screenshot. Let's do this. Remember the need the address bar to be visible. Take a screenshot there. Now paste that in the evidence document. That should be let's check, step 13. Step 13. Okay, we need the full page. I'm going to come down again and just take another screenshot. This time, something from here. And place that just below. Okay, yes, perfectly. Good. So now that laps properly, showing the whole page, the address bar, and the full web page. Please do not screenshot your taskbar when doing this. Basically, they need the address bar. So you see the question says it should show the address bar is fully visible, the text can be easily read, and all page can be seen. So display this. Now lastly, display the HTML source. Take a copy of the HTML source and place this in your evidence documents. Okay, so we want to go to expression, copy everything from here. Just gonna copy as Ctrl+C for the shortcut to do that, and I'm gonna come here. Still gonna call that step. Still a part of step 13, so let me just paste it there And yes, so that's all that is needed. Let's go back to the question. All right, that's about all that is done. Then we can print this. It says print your evidence document. Make sure your center name number appears on every page of your evidence document. Save and print your evidence document. So if we take a look at our evidence documents, we have the first evidence, which shows the folder, TCC folder, and all the details, the files. We have your CSS, that's your style sheets. You have your web page, and finally you have a copy of your HTML. Let me take this down. Okay. So, yes, and I think that's all that you need to do. Let's just print this out in PDF and see what it's going to look like. Print it out in PDF. I will call that printout 3. Because we've had 2 printouts from the spreadsheet aspect of the question, and we can take a look at what it will look like. Printouts 3. Good. And that is it. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoy what you have seen, I would appreciate you. Please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification bell so whenever I release another video, you will be notified and be able to catch up with every solution I've made. So till I see you next time, please keep practicing. Ensure you keep practicing. The question and the source files will be dropped in the description below, the link to that, and the more you practice, the better you get at doing it and more confident to face your examinations. So till I see you in my next video, stay safe and goodbye.